very warm water temperature for this time of year. Plum trees bloom in March, and we're here with 60.6 degree water temperature on this lake. This should be good. I'm expecting, I got high hopes right now. 60 degrees, I can move this spinnerbait a little faster, wind that plug a little faster. Gonna start out on some verticality. We're still basically in a warm water winter situation.
It's time to fast forward to early spring, and this week Mark dumps his Skeeter boat into a new lake in western Kentucky. A small but very public lake, this lake has some of the same features as Kentucky Lake, but offers a different, more scenic background, along with some grass. Mark hasn't been on this lake in several years, but with overcast skies and water temperatures hovering around the 60-degree mark, he has a suspicion that these pre-spawn bass will be ready to eat. He's going to start near the boat ramp, probing some vertical cover.
So we're going to start out on some verticality, on some channel swings, 25 feet of water along this bluff. Get this spinnerbait moving a little bit, pick up the crankbait on the ends, try to figure out a depth zone that the fish are in. Then we'll figure out how shallow they've gotten. I bet you they're on these ends of these turns and going to be real shallow on the ends of these turns leading into these little small pockets. Hey, we've got good water clarity here too. I mean, I can see that spinnerbait down there. Actually pretty darn deep. So I've gone with a hack attack in a 1/2 ounce and put a big rage grub on the back of that bluegill colored spinnerbait. And it has always been a good producer for me this time of year. Yeah, I'm real interested on these little flats and these little corners on these swings where these fish move up and down. I think that's where we're going to end up finding them. It's kind of neat where you've got all this run-in coming in, this runoff coming in. You can see where it's pushed out lots of sediment over the years, and it comes right out here and drops off. Just drops right off right there. That's a perfect ambush point. Ramp. All right, well, this little guy had big intentions. I don't know what he thought he was going to do with that. That is a little bitty guy. I'm trying to be careful with him. But he ate that great big spinnerbait, and he's about the size of it. He'll be bad when you get big. He'll be bad when he gets big. Well, we got a bite. Back end of a creek, or a pocket rather. A little influx of water here. He decided to try to steal my spinnerbait. This is an inside bend of the major creek on the main lake part of the lake here, and this is perfect. That grass is setting up in 2.5 to 3. I'm sitting in 6. Perfect place for a good one to get moved up there just for the day. Not time to spawn yet, but just a perfect place. Oh, right at the boat. Right at the boat. Oh, that's a nice bass. Look at that. Look at this. Oh, that's a really nice bass. That is a, oh, get down, you old big dog, you. Love a March spinnerbait bite. Golly, pull me to my knees. That's a good fish. Don't you do it. Come here, big guy. You're mine now, I hope. Golly. there. Looky there what I found. Big old spinnerbait bass. Look here. The most important thing on a spinnerbait is that gamakatsu trailer hook. I wouldn't have caught that fish without it. How about that? Oh, I mean, he got it too. That is a good fish to get started with. Good fish. How about that? How pretty that is. Old pre-spawn fish. Good and healthy. Good one. Get back in there and do what you were doing. One of the unique things that happens is a bass is a very, very efficient predator when it gets in vegetation. Pad stems, this grass stems, they're a very, very efficient predator. So grass gives the fish an advantage. When the grass is out and it's green, it adds a little oxygen to the water, a little cooler, a little shade. All of those things factor in. But what we have going on right now is we have such a warm day. Water temperature here is 57 degrees. We have such a warm day, overcast. These fish, everything in this lake is real vertical. So they're just stepping up where they can get a bite. You can see this little bit of grass right here on this tree. See how it makes that little turn right there? That's a perfect place for him to sit in the wind, get focused in the wind, sit right on that edge. This wind's gonna bring a little bit of current by him, and that fish is gonna be on that outside edge of that grass. Gives him a perfect ambush point and a good place to grab a bite to eat. So that's why we're gonna focus on these after getting that good bite. That's the cast right there to come right down the side of that. That's where I expect to get additional bites during the day. We'll have a little bite window open up. Got a very volatile day of weather. We'll have a little thunderstorm kind of move through here sometime today, and they should get aggressive in these little corners on these patches of grass just adjacent to this deeper water. I'm in 6 feet of water. That grass edge is in 3. Should be the right combination.
The Big Ugly spinnerbait produced a very healthy bass, but it's the only big bite Mark has so far on a day where conditions should be perfect. He's searching for a pattern and fishing with his gut instincts. Knowing bass should be using the grass to stage and ambush bait fish moving shallow with the warm temperatures. He'll keep moving with his power pole trolling motor and covering water with a spinnerbait in tow.
There's one. That one didn't bump it. That one got it. Good fish. Little spinnerbait bass. Come up here. Get down. That one was way back in the pads. Get up here. That fatty, look at there. Another spinnerbait lesson, guys. Look at that. Trailer hook only, and it fell out of his mouth. Good quality fish right there. How about that? They're slow coming, but look, they're good ones. Look how thick that fish is. Slow coming, they're good ones. Whew, bad dog. Well, that one was shallow. I mean, I wound that thing about a half a click and he got it. Very good. You know, this is one of my favorite springtime pre-spawn spinnerbaits. It's in a perch color. I've upsized the blade. This is a number 2 right here. This is a number 5 willow. I've upsized that blade just so that I can have a little more control with it, making it, I can slow it down. I've added that trailer hook, which all the good fish we've caught today have come on that trailer hook, and then I add a rage grub for bulk. Slowing it down, that big profile, you get good bites. I've had one other fish come out and just kind of punch it today, and that's the only other real good bite I've had so far. But we're gonna stick with it. We're gonna catch another good one. Just old school fishing's what this is. Fun to do. Gonna make a little adjustment. I'm gonna move around some. Seems like I'm getting the bites in the very heads of the pockets or out on the point. I'm gonna leave the in-between out. So I'm gonna start running to the back of little pockets and just fishing that very little back spot. And then if there's any grass, isolated grass out on the main point, that's what I'm gonna do. 61 degree water, here it is March, first week of March. I don't think the majority of these fish have pushed to the banks. I think the population of fish that I've been fishing for all day with this beautiful overcast and light wind are the ones that live shallow year round, and they've pushed a little bit shallower. So gonna make a little move, see if we can't get something going. Little guy hit it right there, a little bitty guy. In the dirt again, right there, just a little bitty guy. Rattled it. I don't know, maybe I've been fishing too deep. So every time I get a little pathway like that where there's an opening, I'm getting a bite. Whether it's a big one or a little one, you know, I'm getting a bite right there. There's another one hit it right there, a little bitty guy. That's 2 for 2. We're about to figure this out, I believe. I like when I'm in shallow water like this and having the wind at my back to push me so I don't have to get on this trolling motor a lot. When you've got good cover, good habitat, I don't care what the weather is, the temperature, this time of the year, you've got fish using that shallow, good cover. Whatever the predominant cover is, this is ironweed or water willow mixed in with a pad or two here and there. When you've got that good cover, they're going to use it all times of the year. Get on the little outside edge of this, a little head of this, get on a corner where the wind's blowing, they use it just like a stump. And again, I really like the situation where you've got vegetation in a lake, because bass are just better, more efficient predators with vegetation than any other kind of cover.
The bites have been solid so far for Mark, but he hasn't had many of them. He's slowly trying to piece the puzzle together. The one key factor for every fish Mark has caught so far has been the grass. Are they inside, outside, or somewhere in between? He's tried a few other tactics, like slowing down and pitching some soft plastics, but to no avail. He's on another part of the lake where the wind is picking up, which in theory should make the pesky bass jump on a spinnerbait around the grass.
There's a good bite right there. Just that little dude just jerked it. All right, we are on a 12-inch lake. Again, look here, trailer hook. Got that little fella. That trailer hook has been valuable. Just a little keeper, 12-inch keeper. Little male. All right, figuring it out. Get shallow, get shallow. Look where he was sitting. Look where that fish was sitting. Sitting right there in the wind, waiting for something to come by, and he ran out there and popped it. They are shallower than I ever dreamt for first full week of March. 50 years of bass fishing, and you learn something new, something different all the time. This particular setup is a Lews TI rod, 7.3 medium heavy. It's got a good tip and a good backbone. Again, this spinnerbait's heavier than a ½ ounce. It lists as a ½ ounce, the Hack Attack half, but it's a little heavier than that. 17-pound Seaguar InvisX and a Pro TI 7.5-to-1 gear ratio reel. That's a good compromise reel with a spinnerbait. I can fish it fast, I can slow roll it if I have to. That's just a good gear ratio for a spinnerbait. So that's the combo right there. It's pretty in purple, everything purple on it, real aesthetically pleasing, and the performance of it's great too. The Colorado Willow combination gives me the best of both worlds. I get a little bit of lift from the Colorado in the front, And then by upsizing my willow leaf blade to a number 5, I get a little more lift and a bigger flash, a little more vibration. The double Colorado, I really like that double Colorado more when water temperatures are below 60 degrees or water color is really, really muddy. A double Colorado gives more vibration, but I have to fish it so much slower. I've got the water clarity here that I can move this bait a little bit, and that's a good thing. So I've gone to the Colorado willow. A double willow is one that has very little vibration, but I can move it with speed. I love that in the fall when I'm fishing for smallmouth, moving the bait really, really fast and aggressive on windy points. You guys have seen me fish that many times for Kentucky Lake smallmouth in the fall. But it's one in which I have less confidence in the early to mid-spring like we have here. Little fish, another bite. Get up here, little guy. That one got the whole spinnerbait. I mean, he thought he was going to be a big one. He was going to get away with that. There we go, got it out of him. Almost a little keeper. Bite's picking up a little bit this afternoon. He smoked it too. Got some major thunderstorms coming here in a little while. Maybe we're gonna get us a bite window open up just because of the barometric pressure and it's getting darker. I like it when I figure out a pattern that is definitive. A piece of cover, grass line, rocks, lay down trees, whatever it may be. But what I have figured out, it's been the back ends of pockets primarily where I've gotten the most of my bites today, and dirt shallow. And that's because the water temperature is 60 degrees here in the early part of March. That's kind of an oddball thing to have happen. I think the majority of the fish that lived out here are still out, suspended and thinking about moving in. But what fish that live this deep all year round, they're the ones that have pushed, and I think that's what we've been fishing for. But I'm really surprised at how shallow these fish have actually gotten, the ones that are available up here around the cover. It's not all been grass, it's not all been wood, it's not all been other types of cover, but it's all been pocket related, which has been pretty neat.
It's taken almost all day, but Mark is getting dialed in. Finding a pattern and replicating it across the lake can be a challenge, and sometimes it's just not there. The bass have been on a steady diet of a hack attack spinnerbait paired with a rage grub trailer. But the real MVP today has been the Gamakatsu trailer hook, which has helped Mark boat more than one bass. It's time for one last hurrah and see if Mark can finish the day out with a solid catch or two.
There's one, there's a good one. This is gonna be neat, get around that dock. Look at this fat dog. This one is just as fat as it can be. Look at this chub. That fish is not pre-spawn. Look at that, get up here. Look at that. That dude has got a problem. I mean, just crunched. Look at that little fish. That fish is not hardly 15 inches long. Spinnerbait. Little dead grass. That is a good one. How about that? Man, when they commit to the darn thing, it's an incredible bite. I mean, it's just hard to get one to commit, but when one decides he's going to eat it, it has been jaw-stopping. And they just load it. God, that was a good bite. That's the best bite of the morning. Oh, there's another good one right there. Just another one. Look at that. That one's way out off the bank. This is the very first one, but we're in the back of the pocket. And again, look here. Again, without that trailer hook, we would be behind the 8-ball. Another good keeper. Another good keeper. in another little pocket. Came off this piece of wood right here, way out off the end of it. Good one. That's a good fish right there. Boy, I mean, is that a puller or what? Look at that chub. I mean, he is a chub. Look at that. Get on up here. That's a chunk. How about that? Yes, sir. He got the main deal. The trailer hook didn't get him. He was on the back end of that dock. Another pre-spawner. Wow. Come out of there, hook. There we go. What a good fish. I tell you what, it's been a trying day. We didn't get a lot of bites, but everything we caught was quality on that old big spinnerbait, that old hack attack spinnerbait. Join us again next time for another episode of Mark Menendez Bass TV. We'll show you how to catch some just like this one. See you next time.
Mark Menendez Bass TV is brought to you by Skeeter Boats, Seaguar, Lews, feel the difference, Strike King Lure Company, Power Pole, closed captioning provided by Dying to Fish.